Shalom Torah Tribe. It's good to be back with you for our monthly update. A lot of stuff going on, tons of stuff, and I'm going to try to make this video as brief as possible, but there's just a lot of stuff going on that I feel that you guys need to know about. And first of all, before I get into any of the updates, I want to thank you guys so much for your concern, for your sympathy, your empathy, and for reaching out to me via text message or email at the loss of my grandfather a few weeks ago. I appreciate it very much. It shows your concern and your care, and it was a very great comfort to me. Everyone reached out to me as they did, and I appreciate it so much. So I want to tell you thank you. My grandfather lived a long and rich life and lived to be nearly 96 years old, and he is now in the world of truth as he loved and feared the Lord with all his heart. And so thank you guys so much for all of your love during this time. Okay, first up on the updates, you may be able to tell from this video, but something amazing happened. When we got back from our trip to Arkansas, dealing with my grandfather and the situation there, I walked in the house and there was 2 packages on the table, and I opened them up, and lo and behold, there was a brand new Sony camera with a wide angle lens that we are shooting on right now. Someone had donated this anonymously to the ministry and said that they appreciated what we're doing and wanted us to be able to do it even better. And so totally blown away, totally amazed that this happened. And well, I'm so grateful. And I'm just learning to use this stuff. And so if it looks a little wonky at first, as I progress, I'll learn more and figure out the ropes on this. But hopefully you should notice an improvement on the video quality and be able to look at the camera while I'm talking. I've got actually a teleprompter that I ordered right after I knew that the camera came in, so that some of the money that was designated for the camera, ordered a teleprompter, working to get it set up. Hopefully I'll have it working and operational for this next weekly video on the Torah portion. But thank you so much. You know who you are, and I appreciate your generosity for Emet HaTorah. And thank you guys so much for all your support. Next up on the updates is something pretty amazing, pretty ironic in a certain way, because last month at this time, when I was doing the updates at the very end, I said, well, there's really no updates on the Thai translation of my book, The 4 Responsibilities of a Disciple. Well, ironically, the very next day when I actually posted the video, I get an email from my friend in Thailand saying the translation is 100% complete. And they are going to begin using that very soon to be able to disciple followers of Yeshua in Thailand and teach them what it means to truly follow Yeshua and be a true disciple. This is amazing. Couldn't be a better time. So pray for that will be a tremendous asset and a resource that they can use to raise up disciples in Thailand. One more thing in regard to that, even though it's 100% translated, it's only about 50% funded. So if anyone wants to donate towards the funding of that for us to be able to pay the translator, you can do so on our website or using the link below in the description box. Speaking of translation, something really bizarre happened and pretty amazing too. As I was preparing for this video, I get another email. I get an email from somebody that's a supporter of the synagogue that I attend, and unbeknownst to me, also is a fan of Emet HaTorah and watches all the videos and reads the books and things like this. And she is wanting to translate the 5-minute Torah into Japanese because she's from Japan, has a large sphere of influence with her Japanese friends and culture. And so blown out of the water. So she's going to begin translating the 5-minute Torah into Japanese. I don't know where this is going to go, but be praying for that it'll make a difference in people's lives that otherwise would not have been reached at all. Thank you guys for praying for this endeavor. Next, I did a video last week just entitled Why? And I asked a few questions and I addressed them about the Shema and the 10 Commandments. And I said, if you like this, if you want to have more videos like this, just let me know. And I got a really good response. And so I'll be doing more of these videos. So look for them in the near future. Also, I'll put out feelers for doing a video on blessings before and after meals, and I got really good feedback from it, doing a overview and a little bit more detail about the blessings that come before meals, which is based on tradition, and the blessing that come after meals, that is based on the commandment of Deuteronomy chapter 8. So I got great feedback, and I'm going to be working on that in the near future and be looking for that. I'd mentioned this in my last update, but I want to remind you guys that in the near future, probably in the first quarter of next year, I will be releasing a 10-year anniversary edition of the 4 Responsibilities of a Disciple. I'll be adding a little bit of new material to it, reformatting, redesigning it, repackaging, and all that kind of stuff to make it a little bit more presentable, readable, easier to follow, and so forth, and with a little bit additional content. So if you guys can be praying about that, I would certainly appreciate it. Speaking of book publications, I have 2 more things that I need to talk about. First of all is my book on Messianic Jewish prayer. I have a title reveal, and I also have an update on my writing. First of all, the writing is now, by the time you watch this video, is probably at right about 20%. And also, as far as the title reveal, I've chosen to call this book Lost in Prayer, and it's a play on words because a lot of people enter into this Messianic Jewish prayer thing and they're just totally lost, right? But our goal is to take you from being totally lost into totally being absorbed or lost in your prayers. And so that's the goal of this book. It's going to take somebody from ground zero and ramp them up to speed where they can grab a siddur and feel confident about what they're doing and know why they're doing things and what these different things mean, what the intention of the heart is. And I'll also be addressing a few questions like, how do we approach this Jewish book, these Jewish prayers, as Gentiles? Because I'm a Gentile, and I know there are many others that will be reading this book and learning from this as well that are not Jewish. And so that's often a question I get asked. So I'll be addressing things like that as well. But anyway, the title for this book is called Lost in Prayer. And like I said, I'm about the 20% mark of the first draft. And later on, I'll have a cover reveal that I'll be showing you to sort of build anticipation for the release of this book, God willing, somewhere around the end of the year. Okay, and last, my good friend, my brother in Christ, Ansel Lee, you've heard me talk about him, did a little interview with him a while back. He has just released another book, the second volume of his book called Common Grounds. This is Common Grounds to the Art of Relational Selling. So here's the deal. Even though this is not related necessarily directly to ministry, Ansel has a heart of ministry, and he leads small groups and things like this, and everything that he does, he tries to put Yeshua into it, even though he comes from a little bit different perspective than I do. Our work together in this book hopefully will touch people's lives. And even though this is a big business book, it does have other significant spiritual additions within it. And I've written a chapter in it called How Relationships Broke the Internet. And it's sort of a fun, interesting observation that I've made based on an event that happened this past March with one of my favorite fictional authors, as fiction authors. He's real, but he writes fiction, okay? And science fiction and fantasy author, and something that happened with him, and I relate it back to relationships and business. Please go check that out. It's called Common Grounds to the Art of Relational Selling, and if you pick up a copy, I know Ansel would thoroughly appreciate it. Well, that's all I've got for you for this month, the month of August of 2022. I pray that you guys are doing well. Look for my upcoming video on this week's Torah portion, Re'eh, coming up just in a day or two. Shavua Tov, and we'll talk to you soon.